Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday evening introduction to LifeWave. Our star of the show is our product X39, and we will introduce the company, the founder, this amazing technology that is changing people's lives all over the world. And then we have a special guest, Dr. Barbara Jennings, who will be with us to talk a little bit about the technology and a little more detail about the product. And then we turn things over to you. And it's your chance to share your stories. We love, love, love hearing your stories. Every day I wake up, I know I'm going to hear a miracle story. And if you have questions, so you can put them in the chat and we will call on you. I'm your host this evening, Robin Blake Mascari, and it is my pleasure to introduce my partner, dear Gregory. Over to you, honey.
All right, thanks. I guess I can take my headset off.
Yeah, you can.
Welcome. Well, we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to just kind of give you a brief overview about the company, the stem cell industry, and a little bit about the science, and tee it up for Robin and the doctor to dig in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to talk about how X39 activates stem cells. For you new folks, I want to share with you an aha that I had. I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, younger. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but you know, I'm about to celebrate the 30th anniversary, my 39th birthday, and I just want to keep getting younger every year. And welcome to the stem cell revolution, because that's really what it's about. And certainly everyone wants to look, feel, perform, heal, and live younger. And stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that repairs and generates damaged cells in all of our organs, glands, and tissues. The problem is the older we get, the fewer stem cells we have, the less active our stem cells are. And by age 60, only a small percentage remains. And sadly, the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age, the slower we heal. And what about stem cell injections? Because they're getting quite popular, but you know, they're quite expensive too. They're painful, risky, controversial. And you know, there's no guaranteed results. I've talked to a number of people who've had stem cell injections with limited results, and others have had good results. But you know, what if there was a better way? And the good news is you can look, feel, perform, heal, and live younger with a historic breakthrough in stem cell technology. It's a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, it's non-drug. It's a patented form of phototherapy, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. It uses specific frequencies of light to increase and improve stem cell activity. It's the brainchild and gift from our visionary founder and CEO, a brilliant scientist and researcher, David Schmidt, who's also a genius inventor with over 100 patents and patent pendings. And David's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years. And he's already conducted over 90 clinical studies, many of them double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical studies, proving the efficacy of LifeWave phototherapy products. And there are many more clinical studies in the works, no end in sight. So LifeWave is actually we're almost 17-year-old advanced technology health sciences company, founded in 2004 based on an energy enhancing technology David developed for Navy SEALs under a government contract to increase their strength, stamina, performance, and ability to stay awake for extended period of times without drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. Well, the technology was so effective, it's now used by world-class athletes all around the world in almost every sport. We have corporate headquarters and laboratories and manufacturing in California and Ireland, and we have global distribution to 75 plus countries from our 14 global distribution centers. So how does this amazing technology work? Okay, well, it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation, and LifeWave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals. When activated or near the body, they're activated by our body heat. And then they begin to emit very targeted and very specific wavelengths of light, which stimulates targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in the body. This is known as photobiomodulation, and it's the basis of our phototherapy patches. So phototherapy, from our perspective, is short for photobiomodulation. So it's been a well-recognized and proven, scientific principle that specific frequencies of light can cause specific changes in the body. For example, when we go out in the sun, a very specific frequency of light causes the body to make vitamin D. Another frequency of light causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. And LifeWave's patented technology is based on this very same rock solid, well-proven and accepted scientific principle. So our focus for the last 11 years has been in the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And I'm excited to tell you that in January of 2019, we released to the global market the LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patch. And this truly is a historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell technology. Some are calling it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science. And we're doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies and big pharma have not been able to do. X39 actually activates a very specific copper peptide that activates our stem cells while also altering gene expression towards a younger and more vibrant you. So yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. Yes, we have tremendous field results that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, heal, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very exciting news. So that's my quick summary, Robin. So I'll turn it back to you and our special guest and good doctor that's going to be on the call here with us tonight.
That was wonderful, Gregory.
Thank you.
I love that. Thank you. And I think everybody else does too. We always get great responses about that new slideshow. We're always wanting to make things better. Well, it is my pleasure to bring on our doctor for the evening, and I have grown to love this woman. She's such a wealth of wisdom and shares so much. She's she comes to us from Fort Collins, Colorado, and is a functional medicine oriented chiropractor. And she got into chiropractic after a chiropractor made a huge difference in her when she was dealing with a really challenging thyroid and autoimmune situation. So she has become quite the expert in that. She's been with LifeWave since September of 2019 and has integrated it into her practice. And it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Barbara. There she is. Hi.
Here I am.
Okay, we're good. Glad to have you here. So we always like to start out because we always have new people on the program. And, you know, it's so wonderful that our company and our products have attracted so many amazing healthcare practitioners. So what is it that had you, because I know as a practitioner, you get approached all the time with all kinds of things. So what is it about LifeWave that made you say yes?
Two things, really. Natural way to get stem cells. And number two, my friend Michelle, who I trust, who told me about it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead. Continue.
Yes. So knowing that, you know, in my field, there's a lot of regenerative medicine, you know, which basically is another word for stem cell injections. And well, it's one of the words for that. And I actually had done a little dabbling and looking into maybe integrating, having an integrated office. I personally have no interest in doing injections myself. I don't like blood. But, you know, I have friends and colleagues who are, they're actually making lots of money doing stem cell injections on people's knees. I hadn't, you know, been interested enough to take action there. But when Michelle told me about the patch, I thought, well, that's worth looking at. Right. And so I decided to tried it myself first. I'm my own guinea pig for anything that makes sense to me. And I loved what I did. I mean, what it did for me, in 5 days, I had noticeably more energy, noticeably better sleep, and a greater sense of peace and well-being. And like, wow, if that's all it ever does for me, I'll take it every day of the week. And so I had some of my patients who I've known for many years who trust me, that I said, hey, this is new. I'm trying it. Are you interested? Do you want to try? And it's not a hard sell at all to say, hey, do you want to try wearing this little patch just like a Band-Aid, and it makes all of this copper peptide, and it makes all these new stem cells, and they can just go to work healing your body. And so really within the first 30 days, I had, between myself, my husband, and some patients, I had seen really impressive things. Very impressed with results that I can't do for people any other way. That's when I got really excited. I've been working with these people for a long time, but a horribly arthritic shoulder or frozen shoulder, I can make dietary changes, I can give people supplement recommendations, but nothing works as fast in an arthritic shoulder as these patches do.
Beautiful. So as Dr. Nicholas says, it enhances the clinical outcome. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Yay, for yourself and your patients.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, Robin, before I forget,
yes.
Last night I was talking to my husband, Paul, he's a golfer. So the shoulder reminded me of this, and I think it's worth sharing. So he's 53, he's got a bad shoulder. In his childhood teens and early 20s, he had dislocated his left shoulder 8 times. So it was really lax and floppy. It had a lot of damage. He had to have rotator cuff repair surgery. And it's been sort of a testy shoulder, for ever since. 2 months ago, he was replacing our garage door, and he had to, something fell and he had to catch it. And he felt a big snap, and he just dropped it. So he couldn't curl. I think it was probably his biceps tendon, but it may have been more than that, because he couldn't lift any weight whatsoever more than his arm above that. And it hurt really bad. Not only pain, but no strength at all. And this is a man who's done 100 push-ups 3 times a week since he was 19 years old, and he couldn't do a single push-up. So, he went to the orthopedic surgeon, it checked it out. They did a scan, lots and lots of inflammation, lots and lots of arthritis. And they said, you know what, the next step is replacement surgery. So, until you want to do that, just do your best with this. So guess what I did? I put an X39 where it hurt the most, and a glutathione patch also on there to reduce the inflammation and heal it. In 2 months, he's now back to he's now back to doing 85 push-ups in the mornings. And he said last night, he said, Barbie, you have to tell him I'm hitting my golf ball 30 yards farther than I've ever done before.
Oh my gosh.
30 yards, same clubs, same golf course.
Same guy.
It's like a new improved shoulder. It's pretty amazing.
When it hits that close to home, it's even more amazing. That is fabulous. Well, we know a little bit about these, so we'd love to share, especially for people that are new, because we talk about stem cells, we hear about stem cells in the news. It is the future of medicine, but a lot of people don't know what they are. Could you just briefly help people understand what is a stem cell and why is it so important, and why is this product such a gift to us as we age?
Right, down to the basics, and the basics of what stem cells are, but stem cells are the basics of the human body. They are they're not the first level of a cell, but they are a formed cell that has not yet been assigned a body tissue to become yet. So it can still yet become a bone or a muscle or skin or brain or hair or a toenail or a liver or anything. I mean, almost anything. The type of stem cells that our bodies make, the pluripotent stem cells, have a wide variety of cells that they can become. So when you give your body this level of stem cells, the intelligence of our body can then say, hey, I have a lot of damage or inflammation here. I have a wound here, and draw them to that area. And those stem cells can just go become skin and heal it faster.
It could become anything.
Yeah.
Did we actually start
bone.
out? Did we start out as a stem cell, each of us?
No, but they're
Okay.
they come.
Okay.
I mean, yeah,
So
they
stem
come pretty
cells,
soon.
so they can become anything. They regenerate, and when we're young, we have a lot. And as we get older, what happens?
Yeah, well, as with many things, as you get older, things decline. And stem cells decline in number, but they also decline in capacity and vitality. And they get older, and they don't travel as well. They don't move as well. They don't react as quickly. So older and fewer stem cells as we get older. So, at age 60, it's believed that we have 10 to 15% of what we had in childhood. And after age 70, we've got about none. We don't make them anymore. Yeah.
Whoa.
And so elderly people heal slower.
Okay, that's really helpful, because when you have kids and you watch them heal so fast and there's no scars or anything, they're just amazing. So this special product called X39, help us understand what it does and who should use it and how they should use it.
Well, Gregory gave us a great intro to photobiomodulation. So what they do, they use, or the patches use photobiomodulation to stimulate our bodies to do some really cool things. Excuse me, I need a little drink.
I'll take one too.
My kombucha, yum. Yep. Okay. So the patches are ingenious. They use our own bodies as the source of light. I actually was doing some research yesterday, and I saw this quote from a Nobel laureate that said, humans are light eaters. So plants emit photons. Obviously, the sun is obvious, but we also emit light, right? And if y'all had night vision goggles, we could see all the light that we emit. So our infrared light hits the patch, and the patch contains organic crystals and some amino acids and some nanotechnology, which reflect back into our skin a different frequency of light. We don't absorb any medicine or any substance. It's only light hitting and reflecting back into at a specific frequency that causes a desired biochemical event to happen, right? Like vitamin D is created by a certain frequency in the sunlight hitting our skin. Well, in the X39 patch, that frequency of light stimulates our bodies to make the GHK copper peptide, which I like to say is the coolest thing your body makes that you've never heard of.
It's true.
Yeah, it has, a multitude of benefits, as the most profound being genetic expression. So it actually goes and can rewrite or reset our DNA to a younger, healthier state. So it turns off genes we don't want expressed, either wrong ones or bad ones, and it turns on the younger, healthier genes to be expressed, right? So that we're just healthier bodies. So that's, and I said this before, but again, if that's all the patch did, that's worth it. There's not many things that can do that. So you get that benefit, but the GHK copper peptide also plays a role in skin health, skin and hair, anti-aging things. It's an antioxidant. It has many, many other benefits. Actually, can help our hair grow faster too, fuller and faster. But an additional benefit with these patches is not only do you get more copper peptide and all the benefits that comes with, but when that goes up in your body, it triggers stem cell production. Even in people who stop making stem cells, right? So this is effective even for people who are well beyond age 70.
Beautiful. Because David, our founder and inventor, didn't think that it would work on people over 70. And to his amazement and the rest of us, I mean, we have people 70s, 80s. I've got some people in their 90s that are having amazing results. So yes. How long do we wear it? How do we wear it? What's important to make sure that it's really effective?
Right. So the clinical trials and the studies that have been done are wearing the patch for 12 hours and then taking it off the body for 12 hours. And that is so that we don't adapt, right? Where our bodies are professional adapters. We can adapt to lots of things. But remember that light is a stimulant. And if you constantly stimulate our body to do anything, it's going to just start to, ignore it or become irritated. So that you don't, or so that it stays effective, it works great to wear it for 12 hours on and then not, 12 hours off. The things that we need to make sure are in place for it to work optimally is for our bodies to be well hydrated. That means we need to drink enough water, and you need to have enough trace minerals in your body, because trace minerals are what allow your body to absorb water into your cells. So we need good hydration, and then you need to have copper. You need to have copper in your body, or you can't make that first step, the copper peptide. So copper is essential for it to work.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, I love learning from you every time. Anything else people should know that is important before we open things up for our audience about the patch or the technology or anything that you'd like to share? And you are an expert in the autoimmune arena and thyroid arena. And how have these patches made a difference in your practice with your patients?
I absolutely love them. Absolutely love them with my autoimmune patients because in cases of autoimmunity, the immune system is very stressed, right? It has found a reason. It's found a reason, probably 3 reasons, to attack some of your own body, part of your own body. And that's not a mistake. Our bodies they're not dumb, right? That's your immune system finding a valid reason to attack certain cells, or it's probably not cells, it's probably toxins or infections that it's after. So having more of the copper peptide, having more of the stem cells is very helpful in reducing inflammation. Autoimmunity has very, very high out of control inflammation. And I find that reducing a person's inflammation is much faster. And a person starts to feel better, especially energy-wise, when we incorporate these patches.
Beautiful. Thank you. And that's why so many practitioners really love integrating this technology in their practice, because they can see quicker results with their patients.
Yes.
Okay, let's go over to a few questions. And remember, we never mention any disease states. We always talk symptoms. We do have a few questions. We have one from Kevin, and he says, can you shower or swim with the patches on? Are they water resistant? And how does sweat affect them during exercise? Can you remove the patch during bath and then put it back on? Say after the patch's use of, if you've used it less than 12 hours.
Yes. Yes,
Great.
to all of the above. They are waterproof. You can swim with them. You need to apply them before you get wet and before you get sweaty. So apply them to, clean, dry skin, and they should stick. I've only seen one person who they just wouldn't stick on her. So I said, okay, well, put it on your clothes facing your skin, because both sides of the patch work. The adhesive doesn't have to be the side facing your skin. So you can put it on clothing that's in the right place that you want it to be as well. So yes, swim with them. Michael Phelps wears these patches, and he's in the water a lot. So you can find a picture of Michael Phelps at the Olympics with a patch on his torso.
Isn't that fun? I love it. We have athletes from just about every sport from all over the world that use the patches. Actually, the very first patch was the one that dramatically enhanced strength, stamina, and performance and reduced recovery. So it's very popular with athletes all over the world. Wonderful. Yes. So let's see. Myrna said, for someone with a neck lump, getting bigger, doesn't move, and painful sometimes, can X39 be used in this case?
The answer is almost always yes. Cases you wouldn't want to use X39 is if you are undergoing chemotherapy, possibly undergoing radiation therapy. It's not recommended for organ transplant recipients, and that's just because of the immune boosting effect that stem cells have. So people with an organ transplant who are on immunosuppressive drugs, I know some people say, go ahead and use it. Some, I think the official word is it's not recommended, but I think that's a personal decision to make. I've had a question about immunosuppressive drugs in the past, especially in regards to autoimmunity. And this is, it is not the same for a person on immunosuppressive drugs who's has an autoimmune condition. I would have absolutely no qualms about recommending the X39 patch in that case.
Great, thank you. Okay, we got a whole bunch of people that just put some questions up, so let's see how many we can get, because we are close to the bottom of the hour. When someone's hip is bone on bone in a lot of pain, what patches would you suggest and what locations?
I would suggest a few. So always the X39 in that situation, right? Because stem cells can become new cartilage. So you may want to actually put the X39 on that joint or near the joint, although it's not, doesn't have to be. You can just put it in one of the two normal recommended spots. The other patches that I personally would use, like I did with my husband's bad shoulder, the glutathione. You can also add the Eon. Those are both going to reduce inflammation. So where there's less inflammation, there'll be less pain. And then Ice Wave also, the Ice Wave patch to reduce pain and like quickly, that may be of great help to a person in that situation.
Great. I bet your patients think you're magic.
Do you know what? Today, someone called me a miracle worker.
There you go. There you go. Every day. Okay. How would you patch someone that has some neurological challenges?
Well, it depends on which they are and if we know the cause of those. But anytime you want to address neurological, you're going to think brain and spine primarily. So the head protocol might be a good choice for that person. I know all kinds of different issues with the brain, from brain injuries to degenerative conditions to inflammation. You know, the last patient I saw today, actually, I recommended the head protocol to, because yep, there it is. She's having seizures, right? And seizures are not a medical diagnosis. They're also a symptom, right?
There you go. There you
Right.
go.
So I would do the head protocol, but also consider the others. Eon patch, either anywhere on the head where it makes sense. Right here is one of my favorite places to use it. Putting the Eon patch here can sometimes work miracles for anxiety or for different kinds of headaches. And then you can also adjust the spine too. Depending on what kind of neurological issue you may be really have benefit using patches, glutathione, Eon, Nirvana, X39 on the head, all the way down the spine, maybe down to the sacrum and tailbone.
Wow. Very cool. So being an expert in the thyroid issues, what protocol do you recommend for people that have thyroid issues?
Hyper or hypo?
It doesn't say, it just says thyroid issues. So
Yeah.
it would be different.
Maybe. It sometimes. There's hyper and hypothyroid conditions. However, the solution to both is almost the same, right? There's a few little tweaks that you need to do, especially early on, but oftentimes the longer protocol is very, very similar. So for thyroid, with the patches, I would consider using the glutathione on or near the thyroid. Same with X39. Might use X39 back of the neck, glutathione maybe here, or you could actually do on the thyroid gland. Also the Eon. There's always inflammation involved. So almost always the thyroid has to detox.
Great. Thank you.
There are a lot of chemicals that get bound up in the thyroid that cause massive interference, and you have to clean it out. So I would think detox, and then there's other nutrition things that we don't have time to go into here.
Okay. Well, do you do telemedicine consulting?
Yes, all the time.
Okay. And how do people reach you?
People can reach me. I'll put it in the chat box real quick.
Okay, great. Great.
So
while you're doing that, are you willing to stay on for a few more quick questions?
sure.
Okay, we have we're not going to get to all of them. So if you really want to get your questions answered, put them on early in the call. So let's say someone has they're feeling shaky and maybe even have some occasional shakiness in their hands. Is there a patch that can help?
Well, is this shakiness related to blood sugar, or is this shakiness related to like a brain degenerative condition? Because
you guys are doing really well at not mentioning diseases. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Okay. So if it's the brain, brain neurological issue, we already covered that, right? Eon, glutathione, head protocol, X39. If it's blood sugar, not regulating blood sugar well, the SP6 is really, really effective. I use it a lot actually with my patients.
Great. And Dr. Tom has some interesting expanded information about SP6 and cholesterol intake, or some things that I'm just learning about. So we'll get into that another time. And so let's finish up. Helen White says, my husband just suffered a traumatic head injury and he is bleeding around his brain. What would you recommend?
Okay. I would recommend actually infrared light therapy. Now these patches are infrared light therapy, but they're very small, right? So I would use X39. I would use Eon. Head injury, I'm assuming it was a blow to the head. So there's swelling there. So you need to reduce inflammation. So I'd probably start with Eon. Be careful with glutathione. Maybe use glutathione not directly on the head and maybe not a full 12 hours. So I don't think I answered that earlier. All the patches can be used any amount of time up to 12 hours. You can take it off, you can put it on again. It may or may not stick great, but there's other ways of making them stick. But another great thing for a head injury is a hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy. And I have infrared light therapy pads that you can wrap on the head. So light is so good at reducing inflammation. So beautiful. A combination of those things would be
beautiful. Okay, let's finish it up with this one because this is interesting from Kim Dowd. She says, if you sit in the sun or take a hot shower, do the patches wear out faster?
You know, I have wondered the same thing. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
My educated guess is that probably if you're out in the sun and it's shining on it, probably it gets used up faster. I don't know about a hot shower because it's not, you know, you're not going to stay in the hot shower that long, right?
Good.
Maybe, you know, maybe in a hot tub. So how much faster? I don't know. I don't know if it's negligible or significant, but that's a question I'd love to ask David Schmidt.
That's a good question. I do know that when I had my glutathione here, I had a nice circle after being in the sun.
Yeah.
I got some tan lines. Well, we have come to the end of our time, and Dr. Barbara did put her information into the chat. It's Dr. Barbara Jennings at gmail.com, and her phone number is 970-377-9611. And I'm thinking out loud here with you on the line, thinking it would be nice to do like a half-hour interview with you, Dr. Barbara, to talk about what your expertise is, because then people can refer back to that and we can have the right people, you know, that where your expertise would be a great gift to them. So are you open for that?
Sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
I put you on the spot. I'm sorry. Wasn't very nice.
Doctors always love to talk about what they're interested in.
Oh, good. So you're the first one I've asked.
Just try and stop us.
Love it. Well, you're doing such a beautiful job educating people. And thank you so much for being with us and sharing your wisdom and your background and experience with everyone. And thank you, everyone, for being with us this evening from all over the world. We have Australia and Canada and the US and Philippines. And we just got people from all over. So thank you,
Lovely.
everyone, for being with us. And this call is being recorded and it'll be available in our Live Younger YouTube channel tomorrow. So thanks, everybody, and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night.
Thank you.